love, family, trust. We build our lives on those words and believe they'll never fail us. But sometimes, love hides a lie so cruel it can turn even the kindest heart into a killer. Tonight, we tell the story of Marcus Allen, a husband, a father of 4, and a man who discovered that everything he loved was built on betrayal. In 2017, the Allens were a model family in the small town of Peachtree Grove, Georgia. Marcus, hardworking, church-going, dependable. Renee, a stay-at-home mom, active in the PTA, known for her smile. 4 children, a lovely home, the picture-perfect dream. But that dream was about to become a nightmare.
At Story of Dark Chapter, we're pulling back the curtain on the stories no one else dares to tell. Join us as we explore the grim realities of infamous crimes, uncover the scariest untold mysteries that have baffled investigators and defied logic. If you crave deep dives into sinister events and tales that will challenge your perceptions, hit that subscribe button. The truth is often stranger and far more terrifying than fiction.
Marcus Allen was the kind of man neighbors trusted with their house keys. He grew up poor, worked 2 jobs to put himself through school, and married Renee soon after college. Their story began like a romance novel. 2 young souls building a future together, dreaming of a family. By their 10th anniversary, Marcus had achieved what he always wanted: stability. But behind Renee's perfect Instagram smile, cracks were forming. Friends noticed she'd started dressing differently. More makeup, tighter clothes. She joined a gym, started spending long evenings running errands. Marcus trusted her completely, until one night in October 2017. Marcus was washing dishes when her phone buzzed. A message appeared on the screen before it dimmed. "He's gone now. You can come over." He froze. At first he thought it was spam. Then he saw the contact name, Coach D, someone from her gym. That night, something inside Marcus shifted. He didn't say a word to Renee. He just watched. Every move, every glance, every fake smile. For weeks, Marcus convinced himself he was overreacting. He tried to be romantic again. Date nights, gifts, prayers together. But she was distant. Her phone never left her side. He started to notice other things. New perfume, gym clothes that weren't his doing, and the way she smiled when her phone lit up. A smile he hadn't seen in years. Finally, one night, curiosity became desperation. Renee was in the shower. He unlocked her phone, and what he saw shattered him. Messages with Coach D, months of conversations, love notes, hotel receipts, pictures. It wasn't a fling, it was a double life. Renee had been living 2 stories, one with Marcus and one with another man. What would you do if you found something like that in your wife's phone? The one you called your wife and do everything to make her happy, only to find out you are not alone to her. And that night, Marcus Allen realized the woman he loved most had been lying for nearly a decade. Marcus didn't explode. He didn't shout. He went silent. The kind of silence that terrifies people who know you best. Days later, he bought DNA test kits online, one for each child. When Renee asked, he smiled and said it was for a school ancestry project. She believed him. 2 weeks passed. The results arrived on a cold December morning. Marcus opened the email, heart pounding. Imagine after being called father for so many years, all the sleepless night making sure your kids are okay. Now is a matter of seconds to prove they are yours. Unfortunately, none of the 4 children were his. He checked again and again, but the results didn't change. Every birthday, every lullaby, every laugh, every bit of love he'd poured into those kids was built on another man's DNA. When he confronted Renee, she broke. She told him everything: the affair, the lies, the truth about each child. She said she'd never meant to hurt him, but she didn't love him anymore. And in that moment, something inside Marcus finally broke too. After that day, Marcus stopped being Marcus. He quit his job, stopped attending church, stopped talking to friends. He started drinking, something he'd never done. He was seen sitting alone in his truck at night, just staring at the house. Neighbors said his eyes looked empty. He told one friend, "They took everything from me, my name, my blood, my purpose." Another said he'd begun writing letters to Renee, to the children, to God, each one ending with the same line: "I forgive you, but I can't live like this." On March 3rd, 2018, that forgiveness turned into tragedy. In February 2018, Renee told friends she was planning to move out. Marcus begged her to stay, for the kids, for the marriage, for the family he believed was still his. She refused. On the night of March 3rd, 2018, neighbors heard shouting. Then, silence. By morning, Renee and the 4 children were found dead, each in their beds. Marcus was sitting in the living room, covered in blood, staring at family photos. He said one sentence to police: "They were never mine." When we walked in, he didn't move, didn't blink, just sat there. The look on his face wasn't rage, it was emptiness, like he had finally finished something he'd been planning for a long time. Investigators found a handwritten letter on the coffee table. It read, "If I can't have peace, none of us will." On his phone, dozens of saved messages from Renee. Every one of them proof that she had tried to leave. Proof that he couldn't let her go. Autopsy reports showed each child had been tucked in before they were killed. There were no defensive wounds, no screams, just the final act of a man who decided if his family wasn't his, it wouldn't be anyone's. Within 24 hours, the entire country knew the name Marcus Hill. The headlines called him the father who snapped. Social media called him a monster, but some called him broken. Authorities say Hill confessed to the murders after discovering his wife's affair and a paternity test that revealed none of his 4 children were biologically his. Police discovered that Renee had been seeing a co-worker, a man Marcus once introduced as a friend, and that Marcus had secretly tested all 4 children after a heated argument. When the results came back negative, something inside him shattered. Marcus was living in a fantasy. He still took the kids to school, still cooked breakfast, but he was pretending. He knew the truth, and that truth was eating him alive. At trial, the defense argued insanity. His attorneys painted a picture of a man pushed beyond human limits, betrayed by the person he trusted most, haunted by the loss of everything that made him whole. Marcus Hill didn't snap, he decided. He had choices, and he made them. And those choices ended 5 lives. In court, Marcus sat motionless, staring at the floor as Renee's family wept. When shown photos of his children, he turned away. When asked if he regretted it, he said only, "They weren't mine to begin with." After 2 weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated for just 6 hours. The verdict: guilty on all counts. Marcus Hill was sentenced to 5 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Reporters asked what he'd say to Renee's family if he could. He looked into the camera and whispered, "I loved them, even when I hated them." Today, the Hill home stands empty, a place where laughter once lived, now frozen in time. You can still see the toys in the backyard. Nobody ever took them down. It's like the world moved on. But that house didn't. In prison, Marcus spends 23 hours a day alone. He writes letters, mostly to no one. Some start with "Dear Renee," others end with "Tell the kids I'm sorry." But they're never sent. Renee's family created a foundation in her name, helping families escape emotional abuse before it turns fatal. They called it the Hill Haven Project, a name born from tragedy, built on the hope that someone else might find a way out before it's too late. Jealousy doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers in the dark corners of love, where trust dies and fear takes its place. Marcus Hill believed he was saving his family from shame. But all he did was bury the only people who ever loved him unconditionally. In the end, betrayal isn't about lies. It's about what it turns us into when we can't let go. If this story moved you, subscribe for more chilling cases where truth, love, and betrayal collide. Because in every quiet town, there's a story waiting to be told.